The most revealing truth about Princess Diana was not hidden in a palace statement or a televised interview. It lived in her private words, written by hand, away from cameras and royal advisors. Those letters showed a mother who feared for her sons, fought to protect their childhood, and wanted Prince William to become more than a future king. She wanted him to become a compassionate man. In July 2004, a quiet listing appeared in the catalogue of a London auction house. The collection included handwritten letters from the late Princess Diana. They were personal, unfiltered, and filled with emotion. Many had been sent to Violet Collison, a trusted figure connected to the Spencer family, for decades. Violet had known Diana before the world knew her as the Princess of Wales. She watched her grow from a shy young girl into one of the most recognized women on earth. Diana, therefore, wrote to her with a freedom that official palace correspondence could never capture. The letters traced the transformation of Diana's life. They reflected the excitement surrounding her engagement, the chaos before her wedding, the pressure of royal expectations, and the joy and fear she experienced as a mother. One letter was dated July 8, 1981, only weeks before Diana married Prince Charles. She described the frantic preparations around her. Everyone seemed to be rushing to complete the final detail, while the bride was still keeping calm. The words were playful, revealing the warmth and humor that later helped her connect with the public. But the tone changed as the years passed. Diana wrote increasingly about her children, especially William. Her letters revealed how deeply she thought about his happiness, emotional well-being, and the enormous responsibility waiting for him. One of the most touching letters was dated June 21st, 1989. It was written on official Kensington Palace stationery and addressed to Sergeant George Plum of the Special Escort Group. Diana thanked him and his team for organizing a motorcycle display for Prince William's 7th birthday. She explained that the performance had brought enormous joy to the children and their mothers. Beside Diana's signature, William and Harry had added their own small marks. Those scribbles captured a rare family moment far removed from formal ceremonies and media attention. The letter was not directly addressed to William, but it showed how closely Diana watched over his happiness. She wanted his birthday to feel like the celebration of an ordinary child, not merely an event for a future monarch. That desire shaped Diana's parenting. She understood that William and Harry had been born into extraordinary privilege, but she did not want privilege to separate them from reality. She wanted them to know how ordinary families lived and how hardship affected people outside palace walls. According to her former protection officer, Ken Wolfe, Diana arranged experiences that allowed her sons to see the world beyond royalty. She took them to amusement parks and fast food restaurants. She traveled with them on public transport. She wanted them to meet people who did not bow or follow royal protocol. These outings were lessons. Diana believed that a title did not automatically create wisdom, kindness, or respect. Those qualities had to be learned through experience. At the same time, Diana was fiercely protective. She knew the damage constant media attention could cause because she had experienced it herself. Photographers followed her movements, and newspapers turned private struggles into public entertainment. To protect her sons, Diana tried to reach a careful agreement with the press. She allowed official photographs during important moments, including the first day of school and family holidays. In return, she hoped journalists would give William and Harry enough privacy to grow without being pursued every day. Her determination began when William was born. On June 21st, 1982, Diana became a mother for the first time. She was only 20 years old. Motherhood immediately became one of the central forces in her life. Diana refused to behave like a distant royal mother. She chose to breastfeed William, a decision described as unusual within the royal family of that era. She took an active role in choosing his name and resisted the expectation that nannies and palace staff should perform most of the daily work of raising him. Only weeks after William's birth, Prince Charles was required to travel to Australia. Traditional practice suggested that the baby should remain behind with staff. Diana refused. She brought William with her, making it clear that royal duty would not automatically come before motherhood. As William grew older, Diana continued to challenge tradition. Instead of keeping him inside palace rooms with private tutors, she enrolled him in a nursery school near Kensington Palace. Members of the public were surprised to see Diana personally bringing her son to school and collecting him afterward. The act looked simple, but it gave William contact with other children in an environment that did not revolve entirely around his rank. Later, she ensured that William and Harry experienced ordinary pleasures. They visited McDonald's, rode the London Underground, went to theme parks, and traveled on buses. Diana selected quieter times to reduce attention and make security easier. On some occasions, she reportedly used subtle disguises to avoid recognition. Every trip carried a purpose. Diana wanted her sons to understand people from different backgrounds and see that happiness did not depend on palaces, ceremonies, or wealth. One important example involved Centrepoint, a charity supporting young homeless people in London. Diana brought William to meet children and teenagers who had no stable home, limited education, and little family support. The visit exposed William to a reality completely different from palace life. Diana wanted him to understand that privilege created responsibility, and influence should serve people who were ignored or unheard. By the early 1990s, the breakdown of Diana's marriage to Prince Charles placed even greater pressure on the family. The world watched their relationship deteriorate through rumors, photographs, interviews, and competing accounts. Inside that turmoil, Diana focused even more intensely on William and Harry. She selected Wetherby School and Ludgrove because she believed they could provide privacy and emotional support. Diana communicated with school staff, attended events, watched sports days, and wrote personal thank you notes. In 1992, the official separation between Diana and Charles was announced. William was about 10 years old, while Harry was about 8. Their need for stability became urgent. Diana continued to organize school routines, weekends, and family time. She tried to protect the boys from the emotional consequences of the conflict between their parents. Yet she understood that they could not remain completely unaware of what was happening. As the older son and future heir, William carried a heavy burden. Diana worried about the pressure he would face and tried to give him emotional tools that royal training did not always emphasize. The crisis became more public on June 29, 1994, when Charles acknowledged on national television that he had been unfaithful. The admission confirmed what many people had suspected and pushed the royal marriage into a deeper crisis. Diana responded on November 20, 1995. That night, the BBC broadcast her Panorama interview with journalist Martin Bashir. The program lasted about 38 minutes and was watched by more than 22 million people in the United Kingdom. Diana spoke openly about the difficulties of royal life, her loneliness, emotional struggles, and the collapse of her marriage. But beneath the headlines, her concern for William and Harry remained central. She explained that she wanted her sons to grow with kindness, love, resilience, and emotional intelligence. She did not want them trained only to perform public duties. She wanted them to understand how ordinary people felt, why people suffered, and how leadership could be guided by compassion. The interview became one of the most famous broadcasts in modern royal history. Years later, serious questions emerged about how Bashir had secured Diana's cooperation. The source claims that false documents and misleading statements had been used to gain access and intensify her fears. Those allegations became part of the continuing controversy surrounding the interview. The immediate consequences were dramatic. After consulting advisors, Queen Elizabeth II urged Diana and Charles to proceed with a formal divorce. Diana was reportedly devastated. According to accounts from royal writers and her former butler, Paul Burrell, she had wanted more time and space, not complete removal from royal life. The divorce was finalized on August 28, 1996. Diana retained the title Princess of Wales, but she lost the formal style of Her Royal Highness. The change carried deep emotional meaning. Without that status, royal protocol could require Diana to curtsy to senior family members, including eventually her own sons. According to Paul Burrell, Diana told William how painful the loss felt. William was 14 years old. He reportedly told his mother not to worry because one day when he became king, he would give the title back to her. William has never publicly confirmed that exchange, and the palace has not officially verified it. Even so, the story endured as a symbol of their close bond. After the divorce, Diana stepped away from more than 100 patronages and concentrated on a smaller group of causes that mattered deeply to her. These included Centrepoint, Great Ormond Street Hospital, the Royal Marsden Hospital, the National AIDS Trust, and the Leprosy Mission. She also focused on homelessness, HIV awareness, and the campaign against landmines. Diana wanted William and Harry to understand that position should be used to help those who had no voice. Yet Diana's final years were marked by isolation and fear. Without the full protection and structure of royal life, she sometimes felt exposed. Personal notes later revealed how unsettled she had become. One controversial letter was dated October 1995. In it, Diana described that stage of her life as the most dangerous. She expressed fear of an accident involving her car brake failure and a serious head injury. The meaning of its claims remains disputed. The letter does not prove that a plot existed, but it reveals the degree of fear Diana felt. Despite those fears, she continued her humanitarian work. In January 1997, Diana traveled to Angola with the International Red Cross to support the campaign against landmines. Photographs showed her wearing protective equipment as she walked through a recently cleared minefield. The images demonstrated how she could force the world to notice a crisis many had ignored. Diana wanted William to see service not as a ceremonial obligation, but as direct engagement with human suffering. She hoped he would use his future influence to help people, challenge indifference, and bring attention to difficult causes. She never had the opportunity to watch him become an adult. On August 31, 1997, Diana died after a car crash in Paris. William was only 15 years old. Harry was 12. The world saw the two brothers walk behind their mother's coffin, carrying grief under the gaze of millions. The letters auctioned in 2004 appeared 7 years after her death. By then, William was a young man at university. Their discovery allowed the public to hear Diana's voice again, not through a formal speech, but through private words filled with affection, worry, humor, and hope. The collection did not reveal one single secret letter written directly to William. Instead, it revealed something broader. Across many letters, Diana repeatedly returned to the same subject. Her sons were at the center of her life. She wrote about William's kindness and Harry's energy. She hoped they would become independent men with the courage, empathy, and integrity. Diana could not remove every danger or prevent every painful event, but she believed she could shape the values. She did that by refusing to remain distant. She brought William into the ordinary world. She showed him homelessness and hardship. She encouraged him to listen. She fought for his privacy. She attended his school events. She created moments of joy, including the motorcycle display on his 7th birthday. Her legacy was built through choices that revealed a mother determined to give her sons something the palace alone could not provide. She gave them emotional honesty. She gave them contact with real life. She gave them the belief that leadership without compassion was empty. For William, the letters became evidence of a bond that death could not completely silence. Diana's words survived the headlines, the divorce, the controversy, and the tragedy in Paris. They preserved the voice of a mother who understood that her eldest son would one day carry immense responsibility. Her message was not that he should protect the monarchy at any cost. Her message was he should protect his humanity. That may be the most important truth inside Diana's private correspondence. Before William was a prince and heir, or a future king, he was her child. And before Diana was a global icon, she was a mother, determined to make sure her sons never forgot the world beyond the palace gate.